Good evening to you. Welcome to Hope TV News Watch tonight. My name is Melissa Oluoko Odor. The sign language tonight is Monica Acheng. Tonight's News Watch will delve into the state of the nation's health 10 years or so after the 2010 constitutional promulgation. On us to join us on this set will be gentlemen who will delve more into this conversation when we have Dialogue KE coming up in this bulletin. But before then, let's look at the stories making. Now, President William Ruto has pledged that the Kenya Kwanza administration will continue supporting farmers to enable the country to achieve food security. The president made the remarks while in COP0 during his tour of Bungoma County during the inspection of the construction of the Chepkurkur Technical Training Institute, whose primary subject of focus will be smart agriculture. Grace Ahati reports.
President William Ruto was accompanied by his deputy Rigathi Gachagua, Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi, National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula, and Governor Ken Lusaka, among others, in his tour of the vast Bungoma County, where he conducted a series of activities in the region.
Very good.
The head of state made various stopovers in the county, among them Kandui, where he launched the Bungoma County Aggregation and Industrial Park, and COP0, where he inspected the ongoing construction of the Chepkurkur Technical Training Institute in Mount Elgon. Addressing residents during the inspection of the institute, Ruto noted that setting up of a technical training institute in Mount Elgon will impart necessary skills to thousands of youths to engage meaningfully in the building of the country.
Rais wetu ametoa amri.
According to Ruto, the practical knowledge gained particularly on agriculture will add value and help the residents to explore fully the region's huge farming potential.
Tumehakikisha kwamba masomo ya TVET na ile ya university pia tumeipangia vizuri. TVET kama hii, mbali na sisi kuweka pesa ya kujenga, pia tutawapatia pesa ya kusomesha watoto katika TVET hapa. Tunaelewana jameni? Vile vile ndio nimekuja hapa, hii TVET nimepatiwa habari yake kwamba ilijengwa alafu ikaongezeka. Sasa nitawaongezea shilingi milioni 20 ya kukamilisha hii TVET. Sindio? Alafu na nyinyi watoto wataanza kusoma hapa.
The president has at the same time noted that his administration will continue supporting farmers in food production as a sustainable way of lowering the cost of living.
Nimeona mumepanda mahindi kupanda. Mumepanda mboga kupanda. Nyinyi ni watu wa bidii, mimi nawaambia pongezi sana. Nyinyi ndio mnanisaidia kulisha Kenya. Na kwa sababu nyinyi ni watu wa kufanya bidii, sasa nimemwambia governor wetu tulete store ya mbolea hapa karibu na nyinyi.
Meanwhile, the head of state has urged the residents to maximize on the funds set aside for education by ensuring all their children go to school, further calling for a stop to the culture of female genital mutilation FGM in the region.
Tunataka watoto wote waende shule wasome. Maneno ya kufanyisha kazi watoto ya nyumbani na kuchunga ng'ombe na kwenda shambani, hiyo maneno mkomeshe. Watoto waende shuleni. Nyinyi mnanielewa? Na maneno ya kupasha tohara wasichana ikome. Hiyo maneno haiwezi kuendelea tena. Nimesema wasichana wetu wa Mount Elgon, ile maneno ya zamani ya kutairisha wasichana tuwachane naye. Hawa wasichana ni wakwenda shule.
Reporting for Hope TV Newswatch, I'm Grace Ahati.
Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja's office, in partnership with the Ministry of Education and Food for Education program, has officially launched the school feeding program Dishi na County today at Babadogo Primary School in Raraka constituency, Nairobi County. Speaking at the event, Governor Sakaja confirmed that the program has officially started in 46 schools and reached approximately 88,041 students, a target the county has achieved in its first phase of the program. Our very own Gloria Musimbi has more.
Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja officially launched the highly anticipated school feeding program dish in a county at Babadogo Primary School and later on toward Wangu Primary School located in the area Dandora Phase 2. Addressing the press, Sakaja said that in the first phase, 88,041 children have received the first meal and 46 schools have officially started serving meals.
So we started rolling out the program. With 88,000 today, another 100,000 in 2 weeks until we get to the ultimate number. And we suspect highly that enrollment is going to go up because where we've piloted in the Goti South, it went up 150%.
Sakaja noted that the program is aimed at cushioning poor and vulnerable parents from the current economic struggles while keeping children in schools.
Furaha sana ya kwamba leo tumezindua dishi na county na tumeanza na watoto katika shule ya 46. Wiki mbili zijazo wengine wote watawekwa na by first term shule zote zitakuwa ziko kwa program. Kwa zile zimeanza tuko na hii teknolojia inaitwa tap to eat. Tap to eat ni vile unalipa. Kwa kila mtoto gharama ya chakula ni karibu shilingi 50. Lakini sisi tumetoa huo mzigo. Pamoja na wafadhili wetu tunalipa shilingi 45, wewe unalipa shilingi 5. Shilingi 5 tu kwa siku. Na unaweza weka kwa M-Pesa ni *648# ambapo unaweka watoto walipatiwa form za kuregister. Kama umesajili mtoto wako unaweza lipa siku 5, unaweza lipa wiki moja ama unaweza lipa tu siku hiyo.
On her part, the Nairobi County Health Executive Susan Tilantoi said the program will ensure access to daily nutritious meals for all children in public primary schools and ECDs.
Watoto wakikula chakula during lunchtime watapewa 1 meal. And then moving forward, tutaona venye tunaweza ongeza maziwa, venye tunaweza ongeza other interventions ili nutrition ya watoto iangaliwe.
Ruaraka Member of Parliament Tom Joseph Kajwang lauded the governor for upscaling his efforts and said the program will contribute to decrease in absenteeism in schools and therefore called on the county government and the Ministry of Education to find a solution to improve the infrastructure in public schools to cater to large numbers.
Governor, seriously, we want to thank you for choosing Ruaraka and choosing Babadogo to launch this big project. And it is a project which goes to the heart of a normal and ordinary regular person living in Nairobi. Before we used to go to schools, there was a feeding program which was run by head teachers. But head teachers now became watapeli.
The Dishina County program will be implemented through an innovative 3-stage approach with the first phase launched today, targeting 80,000 children. The second phase, which will occur after 2 weeks, targeting 108,000 children, while the third phase that should end by January next year targets 188,000 children. Reporting for TV Newswatch, I'm Gloria Musimbi.
Gloria says some push and pull was actually witnessed during the launch of that kitchen in Ruaraka, prompting MP Tom Kajwang to call for reconciliation talks between Lakisama Ward MCA Victor Mondi alias Ringo and Babadogo Ward MCA Geoffrey Majiwa to deal with the wrangles amicably. This is after rowdy youth affiliated to the two political leaders from ODM party caused mayhem during the Dishina County school feeding program launched at the Babadogo Primary School, in which the MCAs were guests in attendance. Now, the conflict between the two political leaders is allegedly based on the ownership of the Migingo market, which is located on the border of Lakisama and Babadogo wards.
I have discussed na governor ya kwamba mimi mwenyewe kama mjumbe wa hapa nitaleta Ringo na nitaleta Majiwa tuzungumuzie maneno ya hiyo Migingo. Hiyo ni sawa au si sawa? Tukae chini tupate nafasi inakuwa namna gani ndio iwe implemented. Hiyo ni sawa au si sawa? Kwa sababu sisi ni watu wa baba, hatutaki hizi maneno ndogo ndogo. Tunataka pale ndio tunataka kuifanya. Hizi fitina ndogo ndogo hatutaki. Hizi ugomvi vidogo hatutaki. Hizi nyenyenye kidogo utatutaki. Tunawangoja huko ndio maneno iko, si ndio hiyo?
Away from that, the nationwide recruitment of servicemen and women by the Kenya Defence Forces KDF kicked off today. The exercise is seeking to employ general service officer cadets, specialist officers, tradesmen and women, general duty recruits and Defence Forces constables. Addressing the press on the exercise, the Vice Chief of the Defence Forces, Lieutenant General John Amwangi, said the recruitment drive will take place in 374 centres across the country, with the exercise going on until Friday next week. He cautioned Kenyans against engaging in any forms of fraud, saying they have employed oversight measures to curb corruption during the recruitment exercise. First short break here on Hope TV News Watch. Now remember, Dialogue KE is coming up shortly. We are delving on the conversation of health in Kenya. Remember to send in your questions, queries, or comments on our WhatsApp numbers 0708 222 323 or on our social media pages, Hope TV Kenya on Facebook and YouTube. More news items are lined up for you in a short while. Don't go too far.
Love Nairobi Festival with evangelist Andrew Palau is coming to Nairobi. All are welcome at this free event. 3 days of great music with Don Moen, Pompi, Evelyn Wanjiru, and more of Kenya's best artists. Bring the kids to the family fun zone, see high-flying motorcycle and BMX bicycle demonstrations. Love Nairobi Festival, 15th to 17th September at the University of Nairobi Sports Grounds. Friday, 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. More details at lovenairobifestival.org. It's free.
I've actually been trying to find a balance. It's been really tough and hectic, but everyone says once you get a hang of it, it becomes better, and I don't know, but I'm hoping to find a balance soon because it's really been hectic. But you've been in the job industry for a long time, so I think you would know better. Sindio?
Huh? What time is it? I need to catch up on Leadership Forum. Did they have a radio here? Never mind. I brought my own.
No way. You can't be serious. Wait, why do you have a radio and you can just catch up with the shows on Hope FM podcast?
Really? Even Meet of the World?
Yeah. I mean, you can find them on whatever platform, name it. AfriPods, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, you name it.
But I'm not subscribed on any of them.
So no worries. You can just check out the latest episodes on hopemediakenya.org.
You can now listen to select Hope FM programs on your favorite podcast streaming platform or directly on our website, www.hopemediakenya.org. Listen and live.
Welcome back. Now, health experts are raising an alarm over the emerging surge of HIV and AIDS cases in counties that traditionally had a few cases. These stakeholders are converging in Mombasa for a 3-day stakeholder conference dubbed Maisha Conference to review lessons from HIV and AIDS responses. Dr. Ruth Laibon, the CEO of the National Syndemic Diseases Control Council, in a pre-conference media briefing, revealed the challenges of emerging pockets of epidemics in counties that did not traditionally have HIV progress and has been made in counties like Homa Bay. Dr. Laibon said they are observing a spike in cases in counties like Samburu, Mandera, and Garissa. She has meanwhile observed that men and boys' adherence rates to antiretroviral drugs are quite low compared to women and girls, though HIV is more prevalent in women and girls. NSDCC is advocating for early diagnosis of men and boys to prevent HIV-related deaths. Dr. Laibon has further called for cooperation between positive expectant mothers, doctors, and the community for them from suffering from stigma and discrimination that stop them from accessing medication.
Men and boys, the adherence rates to antiretroviral drugs is quite low as compared to women and girls. And although HIV is more prevalent among women and girls, we lose more men and boys to HIV because of one, they don't come to the hospital early. We only get them in the TB clinics, and when they are sometimes very sick or they've been sent to the hospital because of pneumonia or any other disease. So that's a challenge we have, and what we are trying to do now is to talk about early diagnosis of men and boys, because that is also a huge challenge. We're also having a challenge of emerging pockets of epidemic in counties that were not traditionally having HIV. While we are making progress in counties such as Homa Bay, the ones that Professor spoke about in the western part of the country, we begin to see counties, especially those that were traditionally not mentioned around HIV, like Samburu County. We begin to see the cases spiking up in even the far northern part of the country. We have Mandera coming up. We have counties such as Garissa. While the cases are few, we are concerned that if nothing happens, those few cases, if they remain unchecked and people don't access treatment, then we would have a challenge. So the Triple Threat campaign, this is an initiative that is trying to seek commitment from all the stakeholders, both the government as well as communities.
Over 400 boda and tuk-tuk riders have undergone training on road safety and self-first aid in a tripartite initiative dubbed Tujenge Msingi by Watu Credit Limited, the Kisumu County Government, and the National Transport and Safety Authority, NTSA. The program aims to reduce deaths and injuries caused by motorbike accidents on the road by embedding safety into the culture of boda riders. Now, the riders were taken through comprehensive training on safety, which covered creating awareness on safety rules that they should adhere to on the road. This comes as data from the NTSA shows that bodas currently account for the second highest number of fatalities on the roads. And to some regional news now, Zimbabwean President Emmerson Mnangagwa has been re-elected for a second and final 5-year term late Saturday, August 26, in results announced much earlier than expected, following another troubled vote in the Southern African country. In a speech, Mnangagwa thanked the Zimbabwean people for their peaceful conduct throughout the election process. ZANU-PF party spokesperson Chris Mutsavangwa added that the party had no quarrel with the electoral system and called for the opposition party to have the same attitude. I will be back with the day's business news. Don't go too far.
Love Nairobi Festival with evangelist Andrew Palau is coming to Nairobi. All are welcome at this free event. 3 days of great music with Don Moen, Pompi, Evelyn Wanjiru, and more of Kenya's best artists. Bring the kids to the family fun zone, see high-flying motorcycle and BMX bicycle demonstrations. Love Nairobi Festival, 15th to 17th September at the University of Nairobi Sports Ground. Friday, 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. More details at lovenairobifestival.org. It's free.
Hope TV is where you look and live, with an excellent selection of the best Christian programming consisting of local and international content of inspirational stories, talk shows, Bible commentary, youth, health shows, children entertainment, contemporary gospel music, extended times of worship, live broadcast, news, movies, drama, Christian ministry programs, and so much more. Hope TV is another quality service from Christ is the Answer Ministries, with over 45% of authentic and credible local content every week. Hope TV is a sister station to Hope FM, Kenya's leading Christian radio station, with footprints across the country. Tune in to Hope TV, where you look and live.
To some business news now, CIC Insurance Group has released its 2023 half-year results, posting a profit before tax of 1.2 billion shillings in the period between January to June 2023. This is compared to the restated profit before tax of 472 million shillings the same period 2022, representing a growth of 153%. In a statement announcing the results, CIC Group said its overall insurance revenue grew by 20% compared to restated period prior, with all the Kenyan and regional subsidiaries recording growth in insurance revenue. The group insurance revenue contributed by the Kenyan subsidiaries recorded a 21% growth in the period, driven by continued execution of its 2021-2025 strategy, underpinned by key transformational initiatives focusing on customer experience, digital transformation, data analytics, performance management, operational efficiency, research and innovation, and debt management, among other interventions.
Today we were witnessing the signing of CIC Insurance Group joining the UN Global Compact. This is part of our ESG journey. Of course, as you know, ESG is environmental, social, and governance. And CIC Insurance Group as a company that would want to align with ESG. We are very keen to then partner with the UN Global Compact so that we can start implementing some of the key issues that we need to implement at the ESG. And the UN Global Compact will hold our hands. So we are very delighted today to be part of this journey. Obviously, today is just a signing ceremony. But of course, going forward, then we'll implement some of the key actions that we need to do.
On behalf of the UN Global Compact, we are very delighted to welcome CIC Insurance Group into our global initiative. The UN Global Compact is the world's largest corporate sustainability initiative that calls on companies to align their business strategies as well as operations with a set of 10 universal principles on key issue areas touching on human rights, labor standards, environmental stewardship, as well as anti-corruption. So the commitment that CIC Insurance Group has made today is critical, and especially in this decade of action as we work to mobilize the global business community to accelerate action and impact to deliver on the Sustainable Development Goals by the year 2030.
And NCBA Group has committed to mobilize 30 billion shillings for green and sustainable financing by 2030 ahead of the Africa Climate Week ACW 2023 that kicks off next week in Nairobi. The group says it has identified sustainability as one of its priorities and has set 15 ambitious commitments by 2030, notably to grow 10 million trees through strategic partnerships with private actors and government, fully eliminate single-use plastic to ensure 100% waste recycling, green its supply chain, and investing significantly in deploying EV charging stations across the region. Speaking during the unveil, NCBA Group Managing Director John Gashora noted that the bold commitment will catalyze the group action towards a greener and more sustainable future.
We have come up with 5 pillars that we'll be looking at strategy through. These 5 pillars are: 1, a pillar to minimize our direct impact of climate and amplify our tree planting program. A pillar to ignite our customers' transition to a low carbon operating model. A pillar to mitigate the impact of climate-related risks to our long-term performance. On the social side, having talked about the things we have done, a pillar to enhance the impact of our community engagement model, and certainly on governance, a pillar to optimize our corporate governance. We're making these 3 commitments. 1, that by 2030, NCBA shall be directly responsible for the planting of 10 million trees across the region. That by 2030, we will fully eliminate single-use plastics and also recycle 100% of our waste by 2030. We will also green our supply chain and transform all our corporate gifting to be sustainable. On the second pillar, which is to ignite our customers' transition to a low-carbon operating model, we're making the commitment that we will mobilize over 30 billion shillings of green and sustainable financing to our customers to accelerate the transition. So 30 billion commitment that we're making today.
The Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Forestry welcomes the NCBA's 2 billion Climate Action Fund that will provide financing exclusively for customers wishing to adopt green technology.
To some sports now, the national athletics team is expected back in the country tonight from Budapest, Hungary. Kenya topped the continent and finished 5th in the globe as the 2023 World Athletics Championships came to a close Sunday night, with the dancing queen Mary Moraa delivering the last gold for Kenya in the women's 800 meters races. The East African nation athletics powerhouse scooped a total of 10 medals, 3 gold, 3 silver, and 4 bronze to surpass Oregon performance. The US topped the world with 29 medals, 12 gold, 8 silver, 9 bronze. Canada finished second with 6 medals, 4 gold and 2 bronze. Spain was third with 5 medals, 4 gold, 1 bronze, as Jamaica was placed 4th. And Premier League trophy is coming to Kenya from September the 1st to the 2nd. Ruby's Energy and Castrol, who were officially sponsoring the viewing journey of the trophy to Kenya, said football enthusiasts in the region will be treated to an unforgettable experience thanks to their passion and unwavering dedication to the sport. The highlight of the event will be its grand showcase on Saturday, September the 2nd at the Carnival Grounds, when the venue will be accessible to fans from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Celebrated Nigerian footballer and former captain of the Super Eagles and Bolton Wanderers, JJ Okocha, will be in attendance. That's how we wrap up Newswatch stories tonight. Let's take a short break as we gear up for tonight's conversation on Dialogue KE and politics. As we are on course as a country, did we err in devolving this crucial function? We're taking a short break to usher in our guests for this all-important conversation. You can send in your questions, queries, or comments to our WhatsApp number 0708-222-323 or on social media pages Hope TV Kenya and on Facebook and YouTube.
Hope TV is where you look and live, with an excellent selection of the best Christian programming consisting of local and international content of inspirational stories, talk shows, Bible commentary, youth, health shows, children entertainment, contemporary gospel music, extended times of worship, live broadcast, news, movies, drama, Christian ministry programs, and so much more. Hope TV is another quality service from Christ is the Answer Ministries, with over 45% of authentic and credible local content every week. Hope TV is a sister station to Hope FM, Kenya's leading Christian radio station, with footprints across the country. Tune in to Hope TV, where you look and live.
Just at the moment, many of those who believe in Jesus are feeling what I call the big squeeze. It feels like the militant forces in society that oppose the gospel have mobilized like never before. Hi, I'm Bernie Diamond, and welcome again to Fresh. Have you been feeling that too? And honestly, as we see governments enacting legislation to limit religious freedoms, as we see those militant forces of evil becoming more and more vocal, more aggressive in jamming, in shutting down the Christian voice, it can feel as though they're winning. There's this thing that rises up inside us that goes something like this. It shouldn't be this way. If God is the King of Kings, why isn't he doing something about this? Why do I feel so persecuted for my faith? Depending on where you live, perhaps there's nothing new in any of this. Or if, like me, you live in a place that's historically encouraged and accepted the Christian voice, maybe this rising tide of persecution comes as a shock, hence that feeling of the big squeeze. But it shouldn't come as any surprise at all. As Paul wrote to Timothy 2,000 years ago, everyone who wants to live showing true devotion to God in Christ Jesus will be persecuted. People who are evil and cheat others will become worse and worse. They will fool others, but they also are fooling themselves. Did you pick that? Everyone, no exceptions. If you're devoted to Christ, you will be persecuted. And that bit about things becoming worse and worse sure feels that way, doesn't it? But here's the good news. Those evil people, they're kidding themselves. Remember, your king is still on his throne. That's his word, fresh for you today. It's under pressure that coal is turned into diamonds, amen? So if you're feeling that big squeeze, I'd love to send you a free copy of our latest life application booklet. It's called The Grace Transformation. To request yours, stop by at christianityworks.com and you'll see that free offer right there towards the top of the homepage. Again, that's christianityworks.com.
Every individual desires a lifetime of financial well-being. The success of attaining this goal is dependent on having a reliable partner. Over the years, Nwealth Financial Services Limited has emerged as the market leader in providing innovative and customer-centric services in pension administration, consulting, insurance, and investments. Accessibility is key, and to serve a global clientele, we have invested in world-class technology that ensures our clients have real-time access to tools and information through our mobile application, online, and USSD platforms. Nwealth's commitment to all the stakeholders is to uphold high ethical standards through effective and sustainable governance for shared mutual value creation. This commitment is delivered through the solid partnership between the Board of Directors, staff, service providers, clients, government agencies, and other stakeholders. Innovation and excellence are at the core of our operations. With a team of over 60 professionals, we partner with you for a better tomorrow. To contact us, email us info@nwealth.co.ke or visit our website www.nwealth.co.ke.
So welcome to Devolution Conversation on the Health Matter. Right, this is Dialogue KE. Let's focus on the matters at hand today. See, the rationale for devolving the country's health sector was to allow the county governments to design innovative models and interventions that suit the unique health needs in their country, encourage effective citizen participation, and make autonomous and quick decisions on resource mobilization and management possible issues. However, the sector is in nearly all counties is currently bedeviled with huge challenges, key among them human resource deficiency, lack of critical legal and institutional infrastructure, and a conflictual relationship with the national government. Now, on Dialogue KE, we're delving into matters health to take a look at some of the matters holding back this critical sector enshrined under Article 43 in the 2010 Constitution. On set are two gentlemen, Dr. Kahura Mundia, the Vice Chair of the Kenya Medical Pharmacists and Dentists Union, KMPDU, and George Gibore, the Secretary General of the Kenya Union of Clinical Officers. Gentlemen, welcome to Hope TV Newswatch.
Thank you.
You are the experts on health matters, so I will just help moderate this conversation. But pretty much you hold the reins, right?
Yeah.
So I think our first question would be on, it's been 13 or so years since we promulgated the constitution, and then health was devolved to the counties. Looking back, do we feel we have gained much? Do we feel it was the right move to devolve health at that point, at the initial point of setting up this new constitution? I'll start probably with you, Dr. Mundia.
Thank you. Well, that's a complicated question in a way. I don't have a very straightforward answer. It's been 13 years, yes, since we ushered in the new constitution. And it's about 10 years since we went into the devolution units.
Yes.
In some quarters, it has worked. And in some areas, we still struggling like we never even started. Because we have seen issues of workers being neglected for the last 13 years. And we've really tried to push. Even every day we keep on pushing. We tried during the BBI talks to have healthcare being brought in. We're now celebrating, is it yesterday? The marking of the 13 years now since the constitution was passed. And we're probably still interested to have the discussion of having a constitutional review moment, because we feel some aspects of healthcare needed to have been centralized. Devolution is good, but some aspects of it need to be centrally managed, because as it is right now, we don't have enough capacity as a county government.
Can we actually pinpoint some of those issues, Mr. Gibore?
Very well. I think I agree with Dr. Mundia that everything must be tested. We have tested the constitution, and in terms of how we devolve the health services, and we get to know that there are things that have worked and many of the other things have not worked. Now, I think you understand even the growth has a stage we call exponential. Probably you might not go further from where you are, and that's where the counties are. And to be specific is that the county have done very well in terms of coming up with infrastructure. And the key reason why that is the reason is because to them that is what they call development. In terms of now what you call health, is our system that has many aspects, including now the human resource aspect, the financing aspect, service delivery, we have drugs and other technology, and now what we call governance, leadership and governance. The leadership and the governance at the county level have failed. We have, in terms of management of our resources, we have now probably is an area where we say that we devolved corruption. So we lose a lot of resources. Now, if indeed then we were supposed to identify the unique problem and challenges as per the county, and we are able now to profile them so that we are able to address the challenges facing the people, the issue is that the counties, most of these counties still depend from the national government to get data, to get information on what they need to do, which is a problem.
Which is a serious problem.
So, and I normally say that now that we have 10 years since we promulgated our constitution, and two, we have 10 years since health was devolved, it is a high time that we do an audit of what has worked and what have not worked. And we agree that this is what we need to do. And we hold a position that during this time where we are having discussion happening at Bomas, the key issue to be discussed, which affect every Kenyans who sit on the table and those who don't sit on the table, who make decision and those who don't make a decision. I mean, the health issue must be on the table. If health is not on the table, the only issue being discussed there, as much as they change names, is politics. Is politics, it's about leadership, it's about the people who matters. Now, you know, health is for the people who don't matter. That's probably what I can say, because for those who matter, they normally fly outside to seek their medical services. They have very good medical insurances. It's now the public sector where we serve, it offers services to majority of the people who do not have any medical insurances. So those are the people we want to be discussed on how are we going to cater and give them services that they do need, which the county have failed. And we must say failed because we still have over 24% of our people out of pocket. and people are still contributing to ensure that they are able to get services. Unfortunately, when you go to those public facilities, the lower facility, which is the dispensary health centers, are not functioning optimally. Why? They have not been given the resources to buy reagents. They have not been given money to buy drugs. There is no staff. If there is staff, it is one. And if it happens, this staff is in a dispensable position where they are either sick, they cannot be able to give services to those people. So this is how we have broken this thing. And let me mention this so that when you're going to Dr. Mundi, I can pick it from there.
Yes.
That the current government, Kenya Kwanza government, promised Kenya a number of things, including to ensure that they can restructure the management of the human resource by establishing a health service commission. This service commission, it is on a ground that one, they can pay healthcare workers centrally, can manage them in terms of their training, allow them to go back to school because they will be professionals who understand the sense of adding value to training a healthcare worker. Now, the other issue which we are talking about is promotion. So all this aspect, and of course, effecting transfers inter-counties and between the national government, those things do not claw back counties. But when the counties came to force, they realized that there was a promise to Kenyan as it looked in that manner. Then they attacked the president. They said that you want to kill the counties. So the president took a backseat. And that's why you'll see the current budget has no budget allocation to employ more staff. And now they continue singing about the community promoters. Community promoters existed before this government. The issue which was there is that they were not in a structured, they are not captured in a structured manner where they were being paid. Now the government is saying we will co-pay them with the counties. So that is the only thing that is happening with those people. We should not by any manner think that they are replacing the professional who are supposed to ensure that key services are delivered to Kenyans.
So I think we will also talk a bit more about the human resource here that is becoming a thorny issue, left, right, and center, from the intern doctors and the employment and the 20,000 doctors that were promised. Yes. So what then should be the way forward is, this is an urgent matter. As the medics, you have presented it to the government as an urgent matter that needs to be addressed. So what should be the way forward at this point, seeing the hesitancy in the government to do this?
Well,
also look at the movement of our nurses across board to look for greener pastures. So what is that? Is that an ironic situation that we are in, or how do we address this, where we have a shortage, yet the skill that we have around, we are exporting it out of the country?
Well, these issues of HR in healthcare, they have not started today. Actually, first agitations for reforms in healthcare started way back in the 1970s, up to 1974. That's when the roots of the doctors' union were trying to form up. Then sometimes in the late 80s, sometimes during the Moise regime, 1994, 1998, and then 2010, and then 2011, up to date. We're still talking about the same issues. Kenya has had very few healthcare workers. You don't have enough doctors. You don't have enough nurses, you don't have enough clinical officers. And currently, the population keeps on to rise. So we have enough issues for us to solve internally, but it's an absurdity that now, because the government says it's not able to absorb, we have to export persons out. We have about 6,000 doctors in the public sector, 6,000, and about 13,000 doctors in the sector. The country needs about 50,000 doctors. So the shortage that you keep on hearing about is an artificial shortage. We don't have enough persons to provide care to Kenyans. That's why you have issues of queues, long queues, lack of special doctors in the counties. You have to keep on transferring patients from one county to another county. Such issues are not really what we aspire as per the constitutional provisions of Article 43(1)(a). Everyone is entitled to the right to highest quality standard of healthcare.
Yes.
We cannot afford to give that when you don't have persons available to provide that. You have a facility, like let's say a county has sub-county facility hospitals, having like one doctor, 2 clinical officers. But the persons coming to that area, there are quite many, and patients are not able to access the care that they need. So such kind of discrepancies create more absurdity when you start exporting everyone to go abroad. But since you're not able to, Let's create
But
opportunities.
it's a conversation that is already on the government's table, in the Ministry of Health table, right? So what is the response so far on this matter of human resource?
Well,
as union leaders.
The other day you saw the KHRAC,
Yes.
Kenya Human Resource Advisory Council, being launched. It's launched 5 years late into time. It was supposed to come up into effect in 2017. It never did. And now it's like 4 months old, and it operates like a body that represents the government's interests. It has not incorporated the unions. We are not represented there. So our issues, what is bedeviling the healthcare space, is not addressed. So we are yet to hear. They are even yet to call us, but we keep watching.
Yeah, those are very key questions. And you see, when you talk about the healthcare workers in the health sector, they are the engine of delivery of services.
Yes.
So once that engine is not able to take up, then the services are as dead. Why am I saying that? Is that when he talked about the KHRAC, the KHRAC, we are the people who architectured and pushed it there then, because our main issue was to establish the Health Service Commission, but every politician was against it. If you look at the mandate that has been apportioned to it on that act, it does not amount to anything. So whenever I saw the other day when they were trying to launch it, then I said, I think we have missed it. But however, if you have to look at what it's supposed to be doing to foresee the situation of training and establishing policies, we do not lack policies in this country. The HR policies in this country are such astronomers. They are good. What I mean is that this country has what we call staffing norm. The staffing norm is an international tool established by the WHO. It informs the ratio of staff you're supposed to have at a certain level vis-a-vis the population density. So that is to mean that you are supposed to have close to 45 healthcare workers per 10,000 population density. That is kwa jumla. So we are doing actually less than 11 healthcare workers per 10,000 population density. So just look at the gap. Now, when we see a situation where we are taking our people outside the country, but I say it should not be the case, because either we are training for other countries, then because we the world has become more of a global village,
yes,
then that is good. But in case where we don't have enough and we have not allocated even a single cent to employ, then it worries me that we don't care about our Kenyans. Those countries that are importing our healthcare workers take care of their people. Their people are their responsibility. Then who should take care of Kenyans if at all we are just celebrating taking them out? But I say we are like now in the country we have close to 26,000 healthcare clinical officers who are ready to work. The government has employed around 7,800, and if you look at it, 800 are on contract. The UHC staff, and the much they can be afforded to be paid is just 50,000. For those who are even employed on the permanent and pensionable, they are paid a basic salary of 23,000. We have a country that never think about healthcare workers, but always what I remind the politician is that these healthcare workers that you always forget about, they make a decision about your life when you are not even able to make a decision whether to eat or not. So these are the key people you need to think about when you wake up and when you go to bed.
Dr. Mundia, I am curious. Are there things that we can say are gains since health was devolved? Now that we have looked at the other side of things that we probably don't like so much. But do we have any gains? Do you have any good things that have happened since health was devolved?
Well, the good things I could say, like what Mr. Digore had said, infrastructure setup.
Okay.
Well, we have tried. I would say I could score maybe at 50% trial, because before 2010, most of the county governments, let's say, not county governments, most of the provinces, they did not have enough medical equipment, like CT scans, MRIs, or maybe enough facilities, like the referral centers like we have right now. And comparing that 10 years, before that 10 years, 2010 and now, you've seen all that change. So the cost of MRI at that particular time was about 50,000. Right now it's gone back to about 15,000. It's quite cheaper, even like South Africa. It's more expensive than it is in Kenya. So with such advancements and bringing of such equipment, we are able to appreciate the value of consuming such services. Now the issue comes in the HR. The machines are there,
but the people
are there.
to
Yes.
Okay.
It becomes our challenge now to still continue to give more efficient services because we don't have enough personnel. And training is an issue because county governments feel like if we train more, it will cost us more.
Yeah.
So they rather serve themselves and not train doctors. So it's an absurdity.
That's
You
an
want
absurdity,
to give services, but you still don't want to facilitate the whole process.
Yes.
So,
Gibore, do you think there's a gain?
Yeah, I think
people
that's
help?
why I started, and I said that when the tool of work is a hammer, everything you see, every problem you see is a hammer. So the issue we have is about the politician. When every development they look at is in terms of bricks and mortar, and that is why we are celebrating. And actually, what he's saying, I need to be factual and say that close to 78% of our establishment, we have enough facility. We have Turkana, Mandera, and the northeastern counties that have not reached the facility density to population. So those are the few counties that have not, but a majority here have. And I can give a good example. During the NMS here in Nairobi, we built 22 facilities here in Nairobi.
Yes.
But the healthcare workers are not there. A majority of these facilities are operating minimally. What is the sense of having a facility that is not functional? We are not interested of looking at beautiful buildings where they are not functional. What we are looking at and where the world is going is about patient-centered. The patient is able to get the services where they need it, and they are well incorporated in terms of managing their welfare and making a decision on how they need to be attended to. So this is missing in our arena, and still patients are struggling. We are still, majority of Kenyans are still not able to access services. If today you are doing the survey, you'll realize that there are patients who have not gone to the hospital today because they know that if they go, they will not meet a doctor or see any clinician there or even a nurse. Even if they go there, some of them will find these medics there, but they might not get, the laboratory is not functioning. So that's another area. Then again, if you move to another county, the facility, you might find a healthcare worker, like now, let me say Nakuru, because that's where they have spoken during the conference. They said it is rating high. Then there is a healthcare worker, probably, who is not paid well and does not have the interest of even serving. We'll see you, we'll send you to the laboratory, but there is no medication. So we have failed in many angles that we feel that we need to have a central body that within a button, you are able to get answers ranging from point A to point B. I've seen the president have launched another team which they call facility services. They have gone to check the facility services level. That's to mean they have to ensure that really when we are going to launch the UHC, because we are launching it, I don't know, for the fourth time, when we are going to launch, we are assured that if there is a health center, we are told they are over around 5,000, then that health center, the services corresponds to that level. That's what they are going to do. But again, they are going also to establish the gaps that exist between the staff and the staffing norm, the policy. What does the policy say versus what is the real on the ground? But will it make a change where the whole year, we have not even projected to employ even a single one?
Gentlemen, so this conversation can get all...
We have a fear, but we need to encourage that the few positives that are there need to be relooked into and be capitalized on, so that we do not always keep on lamenting and doing nothing. When we talk about CBS, we want CBS negotiated and the focus be, because when you send people to the farm and you have not given them a panga or even jembe, and you tell them to go and work on them, what will they do? This is the kind of healthcare workers we have in this country. Demoralized, and that is the mental issues is affecting the healthcare workers because they are totally on their own. Yeah.
Dr. Mundia, you wanted to add something?
Yes. We have policies.
Yes.
But some of these policies, they've been made into laws that are too weak and there's no implementation. Our regulatory bodies have failed us. And because there's a lot of politics, the county governments have now want to watch on what they're doing. And the regulatory bodies, because they know there's a lot of politics in the game, they don't want to come in and tell the facilities and tell the county governors, this is not right, this is not right. But there is no law to actually tell them you should have this number of doctors, this number of clinical officers, this number of nursing officers. Without such, that means everyone is operating in freestyle. And it's been a freestyle way. So it's work and work and work, but without guidelines as such.
We need to wrap this conversation up. I think your final words, sir. Yes.
I pick it from where the policies that we have made. If you see of the recent past, there was a cry in Nakuru.
Yes.
Healthcare workers being fired. Considerably. These are healthcare workers. They have been engaged for 3 years on contract. And I want to say what we talk about policy and act. The act provided that the workers that we should be put on contract are workers that exist in a range where there is no one on PNP. Now, where there is PNP, those workers should be treated equally. Now, that is a section of an act which have been outlawed or rather are not ever considered by any employer in this country. So here in Nairobi, again, we have the NMS, and across the country, we have the UHC staff put on a different. And you see, our government is funny. They know that we have an act of parliament, establish a title of clinical officer, the medical officers, the nurses, but they go there and outlaw them. They come up with a funny name like UHC staff so that they can pay you below your pedigree. They also come up with the other things called NMS staff. The NMS staff also exist in their own. And there is no way these people who are already established in an act of parliament, they have titles. You take away the title, you call them hospital employees for purpose of fitting whichever you want to do, manipulating them and paying them below what they are supposed to be getting. This is the kind of hypocrisy we are calling out the politician to stop and the focus to give dignity to healthcare workers. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You want to finish? Yes.
Well, I will agree with Mr. Gibore that differentiation of workers is not proper. It's an illegality. It's strictly stated in the Constitution, no one should be discriminated against. So these workers, they have similar qualifications. They have similar papers. They do similar jobs, similar hours. But you find that you are two of you in the same hospital doing the same jobs. But one of you earns more than the other. Reason being, the county wants to say, I don't have enough money, so I'll bring in a few more at a lower rate, while the others are being paid more at a higher rate. So it's kind of a confusion that doesn't need to exist, but it's something that we're still pursuing. And these persons, the ones who are actually being underpaid this much, being discriminated against, they should be equalized the position of these other workers. And that is a call to all governors, all employers to consider to harmonize all workers.
Harmonize all workers.
And give equal terms and pay.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Dr. Mundia from the KMPDU and Judge Gibore, thank you so much for your invaluable time to come and just shed some light on the state of health in this country. Until next time, I've been your host, Melissa Odor. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. I think we're off.